In the late 19th century, in a Caribbean town, a young telegraph operator named Florentino Ariza falls hopelessly in love with Fermina Daza. She is the beautiful and intelligent daughter of a social climbing father, Lorenzo Daza, who dreams of securing her a prosperous future. Florentino, a poet at heart, expresses his love for Fermina through eloquent letters, poetry, and undying devotion. He waits for her responses, and over time, Fermina reciprocates his feelings. Their secret romance blossoms through letters exchanged in secrecy, their love growing stronger despite never being physically close. However, when Fermina's father discovers their love affair, he is outraged. Lorenzo Daza considers Florentino an unworthy suitor, an unstable romantic dreamer with no wealth or status. In an attempt to separate them, he takes Fermina away on a long journey, hoping time and distance will erase her infatuation. Florentino, heartbroken but determined, vows to wait for her, promising himself that their love will withstand the test of time. Years later, Fermina returns home as a mature woman. When she reunites with Florentino, something within her shifts. The emotions she once felt now seem distant, almost childish. She realizes that their love was more of an illusion, built on longing and separation rather than true companionship. Without hesitation, she rejects Florentino and moves on with her life. Devastated but unwavering, Florentino makes a solemn promise to himself. He will wait for Fermina, no matter how long it takes. Soon Fermina is courted by Dr. Juvenal Urbino, a wealthy and well-respected physician. Urbino is the epitome of rationality, science, and societal order. Unlike Florentino, who thrives on emotions and poetry, Urbino is pragmatic, logical, and offers Fermina a stable future. Recognizing the benefits of such a marriage, Fermina eventually agrees to marry him, despite not feeling the same passionate love she once believed in. Florentino is shattered. He watches from afar as Fermina marries Urbino, becoming part of the upper-class society. But instead of accepting defeat, he takes a different path. He vows to improve himself, to rise in wealth and status, so that one day he might prove himself worthy of her. While he remains faithful to Fermina in his heart, he embarks on numerous affairs with various women. Each affair, however, is empty. None of these women can replace the void left by Fermina. He seeks solace in physical pleasure, but deep within, his love for Fermina never wavers. Meanwhile, Fermina and Dr. Urbino build a life together. Though their marriage is stable and respectable, it is not without challenges. Urbino is a man of structure, discipline, and prestige, while Fermina, though practical, carries an inner world of emotions that remain unfulfilled. Over the years, they experience the ups and downs of married life, moments of love, moments of indifference, and conflicts that arise from the burdens of expectations. Despite occasional doubts, Fermina remains committed to her marriage, accepting her role as Urbino's wife and as a woman of high society. Decades pass, and time changes everything. Florentino, now an older man, has become a successful businessman. He has transformed from a hopeless romantic to a wealthy, influential figure. Yet, his heart still belongs to Fermina. He continues to keep track of her life, never interfering but always waiting for an opportunity. Then, fate intervenes. A Dr. Urbino, now an elderly man, meets an untimely death when he falls from a ladder while trying to catch his pet parrot. Fermina, now a widow, mourns the loss of her husband, reflecting on the decades they spent together. She does not feel overwhelming grief, but rather a quiet acceptance, a realization that life, as she knew it, has come to an end. It is at this moment that Florentino sees his opportunity. On the day of Urbino's funeral, he approaches Fermina and, with unwavering confidence, professes his love once again. Fermina is appalled. To her, Florentino's confession is inappropriate and disrespectful. She is still grieving, and the idea of rekindling an old romance feels absurd. Furious, she rejects him once more, demanding that he leave her alone. But Florentino is patient. He understands that love cannot be rushed. He begins to write to her again, just as he did when they were young. His letters are no longer filled with naive infatuation, but with wisdom, longing, and the profound reflections of a man who has lived and waited a lifetime. Over time, Fermina softens. She starts reading his letters, responding with cautious interest. She finds comfort in his words, realizing that he is the only person who has truly loved her without expectations or conditions. Slowly, a new bond forms between them, not the fiery, reckless love of youth, but a love shaped by time, experience, and mutual understanding. They begin meeting in secret, rekindling a companionship that defies societal norms. Their love is now different. It is mature, knowing, and deeply intimate in a way that only time can create. In an act of defiance against the constraints of society, Florentino arranges for them to take a riverboat trip together. They board the ship, leaving behind the judgmental eyes of the town. To ensure they remain undisturbed, Florentino orders the captain to hoist the yellow flag of cholera, signaling an outbreak aboard. This clever deception guarantees that no one will board or disturb them, allowing them to sail indefinitely, free from society's restrictions. As the ship drifts along the river, Florentino and Fermina sit side by side, their hands intertwined. They are no longer young, no longer concerned with the opinions of others. In each other's presence they find peace, a love that has endured beyond youth, beyond time, and beyond death. Their journey becomes a metaphor for love's resilience, proving that true love does not fade. It transforms, strengthens, and survives. Florentino turns to the captain and, with quiet certainty, orders him never to dock. The ship continues to sail, lost in time, carrying with it a love that has finally found its place in the world. Thus, Love in the Time of Cholera tells the story of love's endurance, its ability to withstand distance, rejection, loss, and the passage of time. It questions the nature of love, whether it is obsession, destiny, or choice, and ultimately leaves the reader with the profound realization that love, in its truest form, is timeless.